I'm Janice Edwards. Coming up on Signature Silicon Valley, what you need to know to invent your future for 2017. Then we'll have highlights from the Black Enterprise TechConneXT Summit, plus holiday inspiration from Queen Elf from the Family Giving Tree. That's next. Join us.
This show is sponsored by Edwards Unlimited, a dynamic media production company. You are here for a purpose, and Edwards Unlimited wants to let the world know. We are dedicated to crafting media that engages and inspires.
Janice Edwards, and thank you so much for joining us for Signature Silicon Valley. As the year winds down and we look toward 2017, we think about what can we do to make our careers better, our lives better in so many ways. Ruth Stergiou is the co-founder of Invent Your Future Enterprises, and she's been a frequent guest with us, a guide to inventing your future and really living a balanced and productive life. So Ruth, thank you so much for being here to join us.
Thank you, Janice. I appreciate the invitation.
Oh, absolutely. You know, these are some times where we've seen a lot of upheaval in the world, if you will. Across the pond in your homeland, there was Brexit. We had a very contentious campaign season and an election that was shocking to some people, and others are exhilarated by it. But at any rate, there's been change. So with this change, and as we look toward the year to come, what do you advise people to do in terms of looking at their careers and how to really strategize for success?
Right. That's an excellent question, Janice, and it's an excellent time of year to do this exercise of really reflecting on where you are and focusing on where you want to go, what direction you want to be in. Yeah. So I think after a year of such tumultuous change, it's really important to assess your assets, do an inventory, and see what skills do you bring to the table. What is it that you really feel good about? What gives you the most satisfaction in your working life? And then perhaps reflect on where would you like to be perhaps a year from now? Okay. Where would you like to be? And then what we have to do is kind of create a bridge to get you from where you are currently to where you want to be.
Right. And in doing that, I know a lot of times people talk about what they love, and then when people talk about how you make money in a career or a business, it's what problem are you solving?
Yes.
So is there a way to marry both, if you will? I mean, because that's what you've really done through the workshops that you do, through the webinars and everything, is help people figure out both. So you're not stuck in something that doesn't feed your spirit, but you're also having the financial compensation that you need.
Yes. Yeah, no, both very important ones. And I think it's really, as I say, an opportunity to reflect, assess, but also think about possibly pivoting. Where could you make a small incremental step that would take you a little bit more where you want to go, but still securing your financial base? There's so much uncertainty out there in the world right now, and we don't know what policies are going to be coming with new administrations. We don't know how things are going to play out. But this is a great time to really look inward and say, well, I can add some skills to my toolbox. I can look at making myself more visible. I can really drill down and see where I can add value to my organization or as an independent contractor, where I can add the most value to the community. And then from there, the compensation can be determined as to where you're adding value. Rather than being passive, you're being proactive.
Yes, and when you look at that, especially because social media is such a big part of that, there has to be great caretaking. And it seems like old news now to say beware of your profile and be very strategic in it. But even in how you communicate in a tweet or or a posting, you have to think about what you want people to remember about you in addition to commenting about something that might be current.
Right, and I think we all need to be aware that we have digital tattoos, and like tattoos, they're always often a little hard to remove.
Yes.
So I would caution everyone, particularly millennials and young people, to be very cognizant of their brand online, and whether it's personal or business or career related, just be really aware. Google yourself from time to time, see what pops up. And is that the image you want to put forward?
Wow.
So what is your messaging to the business community? And social media is an increasingly important way of getting that message across.
That's so true. You talk about digital tattoos. They're really digital sleeves, of tattoos at this point. Well, so as you are looking at that, and I know your business, you've done seminars throughout the years, you've received awards for that. What have you found important? Have you had any kind of pivot that you've taken on with your business?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, for example, my background is in producing major events, but in a changing marketplace, that's become more and more challenging with sponsorships and various other things. So we've looked at increasing our digital online programs. So webinars have become very popular. And increasingly it's hard sometimes for people to get away from work, but a webinar they can access online. And I would share with your viewers, there are so many resources now online. If you want to improve your skill set, you can look at some of them are complimentary or low cost, online courses, MOOCs as they're known, massive open online courses offered by a variety of companies and schools and colleges. It's a great way to increase your skill set, relatively low cost and very accessible.
Yeah, that is.
Khan Academy is another way.
And you really have to schedule and carve out time as you're looking at everything. So you get out your smartphone, you look at your calendar, and you just decide that you're going to dedicate an hour a day, 5 hours a week or something that is really not about the work that is before you or the projects as an entrepreneur, but getting you to the next step, really inventing your future.
I think it's very important to make an appointment with yourself. Exactly.
I like that.
Put yourself on the schedule and just keep to that and work. Reid Hoffman a few years ago wrote a book on now we're all the CEO of our own careers.
Yes.
And I think that's incredibly true, particularly in the gig economy now. We're all very much in charge of our own careers. You can't expect just to be, it used to be the traditional career ladder and you worked and worked and you finally got promoted. You can't rely on that anymore. You need to be proactive and you need to be managing your own image and your own career as effectively as you can.
And especially in the Valley now, because there are so many more contractors. I mean, a lot of companies have done away with salaried positions because it saves on the benefits. So in the gig economy, you never know with whom you're competing. And are there certain customer service rules that people should keep in mind in terms of delivering on business?
Well, effectively you're becoming an entrepreneur, and it's very important to put your reputation is very, very important. And I think we're moving more and more towards the importance of your online and in-person reputation, and relationships are very important. People look at contractors or employees to hire. They want to see who's in your network. They're going to see who are you connected to on LinkedIn. What do you bring to the table in terms of relationships, which are very, very important.
That value add.
Yeah. I think it's one of the interesting things that I've been reading recently is with the gig economy, there's now 33% of employees are working as independent contractors, which is a massive increase. We expect it to be up to 50% within the next 5 years. So it's definitely a trend. There are pros and cons to it, but a lot of people feel actually more secure in the gig economy with a variety of clients than they do working for one company, where they're kind of at the mercy of that one company. They may decide to automate that department or do something.
More robots in every arena these days.
There are certain advantages to creating your own base, having multiple sources of revenue that you can rely on.
And I mean, we have become so accustomed to getting rid of the personal touch in so many ways, which probably affects too, just even people attending events. But are there certain careers where it seems like they're safer from automation that you're seeing?
Customer, I think so. I mean, I think the main strength that we as humans have is our creativity and innovation, and that's very hard to replace. And I think, although we are going to see more and more robots in the workforce and more automation, people need to program the robots. People are needed to create the latest product and service and build those relationships, and those are very human skills. So I think the soft skills are beginning to have more and more importance on your resume, your ability to get on with people and, manage your network.
And when it comes to a resume these days, what kind of resume is the resume that gets seen? I mean, it's digital, but beyond that, I mean, are there still what are the new rules, if there are any, regarding being seen or being innovative and having people?
Well, I think just showing that I think employers, and whether they're employing you as a full-time employee or a contractor, they're looking for people who are independent thinkers, who are self-starters, they're looking for people who are creative and really bring some value to the table. But they're also collaborative, the ability to work in a team, whether it's in person or virtually, is critically important.
Right. So. It's so interesting because when you learn about people, like when we learned more about Steve Jobs' life and how he worked at night at times because he didn't get along with others.
The image of the lonely geek, in the cubicle till 2 a.m. is kind of dissipating, and that's probably a good thing.
Yes, exactly. So collaboration, but innovation and everything. Thank you so much for being here, and thank you for always having such a positive outlook and great information to encourage people, because at every career level you work with high school students and you work with people who are changing careers and transitioning, but at every time it's always the same. Make sure that you take that inventory, make that appointment with yourself, and be sure to know that you can invent your future despite turbulent times and be successful at it. So if you'd like to contact Ruth at Invent Your Future, details are on our screen. For the second year in a row, Black Enterprise brought its TechConneXT Summit to Silicon Valley. And here are some highlights from this year's event.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. All right, and welcome to the second annual Black Enterprise TechConneXT Summit. Both our theme and mission for this event over the next couple of days is to showcase the intersection of innovation and opportunity that is representative of Silicon Valley and the tech industry. A year ago, we produced the inaugural TechConneXT Summit, establishing it as the latest addition to our proud roster of professional development and business conference events. Our goal was simple: to bring together African-American entrepreneurs, executives, professionals, and investors together with other stakeholders of Silicon Valley and the broader technology industry to effectuate change and create measurable impact in terms of business, career, and investment opportunities. With this event, Black Enterprise staked its claim as a connector, communications asset, and champion of Black business people in Silicon Valley, the technology industry, the venture capital community, and extensions of the Valley throughout California and hubs of innovation across the nation.
Butch Graves is the CEO of Black Enterprise. We're here with him as the second TechConneXT is on its first day. It's been a very successful day so far. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
What's different for you this year as opposed to last year?
Well, I think the biggest difference for us in 2016 or 2.0, TechConneXT 2.0, we have a year of experience underneath our belt. We have doubled the number of HBCUs that we have participating in our hackathon this year versus what we had last year. And it was an opportunity last year for us to bring college students here, for them to be seen and have an opportunity to interact with companies and have exposure to them and potentially have jobs and all the above. And I think that we have a better understanding of Silicon Valley than we did previously. I think that a lot of people believe that they're ingrained in it, but you're not until such time as you actually take residence in it, or you ingrained it to understand. And so what's also new is we now have 2 people who work as editors for us on a full-time basis out this way. And I think that they will be able to help us to better engage and be on top of it. But you have to be engaged, because this is where the new economy is. This is where job opportunities and growth are. And I think it's important that we bring that opportunity to the feet of African Americans, so they too can be a part of this wonderful wealth creation opportunity that exists out here.
Angelica Willis has been part of the hackathon here. Angelica, tell me, what have you been doing and how long have you been here?
We have been here since Saturday, and we have been working on our hackathon ideas, developing them, coding them out, working on how we're going to present these ideas. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. I'm here with 3 other members from my school, and we're working collaboratively. There are 9 other HBCUs here, so 40 students in total, and we're having a good time working on these problem solving and working on these innovative ideas. I go to North Carolina A&T State University, and I'm looking forward to taking back some of the information that I've learned here at the Black Enterprise TechConneXT conference There's a lot of really interesting people here, so gaining a further network here in the Bay Area and across the nation, because there are people here from everywhere. So I'm always looking to grow my network and then take that back with me to my school so I can say, hey, I met someone at this conference that might be able to help you, or vice versa.
There are still challenges. That's the reason why we created TechConneXT, so that we can connect African Americans in Silicon Valley as well as tech hubs across the nation. Because we believe that when companies say that they're looking for talent, we should have a ready pool of talent on all levels. We've focused on Silicon Valley from the boards, and in fact we've done studies in terms of a few years ago there not being enough African Americans on boards, and because of that exposure and because of efforts to increase the number of black board members, now we have black board member on Apple, we have black board member on Alphabet, which is the parent of Google. We have Hewlett-Packard. When it split, it now has the most diverse board representation with 4 African-American board members, including one who is a millennial. So just being a part of TechConneXT, bringing together these connections, sharing with corporate America, the corporations in Silicon Valley, as well as the entrepreneurs, is gaining traction in terms of creating opportunities. And that's what Black Enterprise is about. That's a part of our DNA, is making those connections, making those contacts, so we can build an infrastructure that will create access to great opportunities.
How long have you been with Black Enterprise?
I've been with Black Enterprise. I started Black Enterprise some 33 years ago.
Oh my gosh.
HBCUs. I come from I'm an HBCU graduate from Norfolk State University, and I started at Black Enterprise right out of school. So I've had the privilege of seeing the evolution of black business over the last 30 years, and that's demonstrated by the people that we honored.
Right, I always wondered how these things worked. So I was thinking a lot backstage about what I wanted to say, and I want to say a couple things. First, I am deeply humbled and appreciative of this. I've been a Black Enterprise supporter since I was 6 years old, so this for me is quite the dream come true, and I mean that with every ounce of conviction in my being. One thing that I speak all the time about Walker & Company Code 2040. One thing I don't get to talk a lot about is why I care about this, right? And there's 2 stories that I wanted to offer out to give you some kind of clarity around why I care so much about what we're doing in Silicon Valley, inspiring diversity, inclusion, et cetera. The first is a book that I've read, and I encourage all of you to read this book. It's a book called Race Against the Machine. It's one of the best books I've ever read. And I'm going to butcher the thesis a little bit, but kind of follow along with me. It's an MIT professor, and his thesis goes as follows. The gap between the rich and the poor is as stark as it's ever been. It's getting worse. There is no middle class. I fundamentally believe that to be true. The reason he believes that is because he says folks at the top are leveraging technology in ways to make them a hell of a lot more productive, while folks at the bottom are not. Right? Why is that important? Now, quite a few folks at the bottom, and this is, you think 1%, 99%, are folks of color, the greatest consumer demographic on the planet, right? And in a world where there is no middle class, these manufacturing jobs are going away, the future is increasingly more digital, no longer analog, I think the single greatest economic opportunity, whether it be for-profit or not-for-profit, is to help the greatest consumer demographic in the world be the best producer demographic in the world. That matters to me. I think it is the most important thing that America can really think about for its own competitiveness. That's one thing. The second thing, thank you. The second thing, I read a lot of biographies of great men and women that inspire me. And over the past year, with all the things happening in an election, there's one kind of passage that really resonated with me in a very big way. And I was reading Thomas Jefferson's Art of Power. And he would always write these letters back and forth to John Adams after they had.
William Hill works at Lawrence Livermore Labs, and he's attending TechConneXT. What brought you here today?
So just all the different luminaries that were here, you know, hearing people like Tristan Walker, Everett Taylor, you know, all those type of guys are inspiring to me. You know, things that they're doing right now and have done are things that I would like to do. So it's very inspiring to kind of see someone that looks like me excelling in the tech industry.
Once again, if you'd like to contact Black Enterprise, find out more about the next TechConneXT or any of the other events, conferences that they hold, details are on our screen. In our years of doing Signature Silicon Valley, we've developed a couple of traditions, and one of my favorites is to have Queen Elf from the Family Giving Tree join us. And this year we're very excited because in addition to Queen Elf, Jennifer Cullenbine, we have Andrea Hernandez, who's with us as well. So welcome, Andrea. Nice to have you here.
Thank you.
And welcome back, Queen Elf.
Thank you.
And one of the reasons we wanted to invite Andrea to join us is because she and her family have benefited from the Family Giving Tree each year, and she's been a volunteer at the warehouse, and we have a mock-up of the warehouse here as well. But before we talk about this, which is fascinating, we want to welcome you back. This is your 26th year. Let's talk about how it all began.
Well, it began as a MBA class project at San Jose State 26 years ago. And my professor said, please go do something that adds value to someone else's life and then come and tell us about it. And the Family Giving Tree was born.
Right. And so what happens is you have these cards and people talk about what they want. And then how does it go from being this card to a gift that makes someone happy?
So for example, this card says Arnold, who's 4, and he wants a Crayola art supply kit or some moon sand big farm, whatever that is. But we will take this card and we'll send it out to a company in the Bay Area, and they'll hang it up, and then one of their customers or their employees will take the card and buy Arnold that Crayola art supply. And then on the 12th of December, we will collect all of those gifts and we'll row them up, and we'll have volunteers, 8,000 of them, checking Santa's list to make sure that everyone got what they asked for.
Wow, it is a wonderful, wonderful thing that you do. Andrea, you've been at the warehouse, so why did you want to go there and sort gifts?
Because it's fun and everybody's so nice.
Yes, very nice. And you said that last year that you received something from Santa. Can you tell us about that?
Shopkins.
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 Very
now you have to
popular.
educate me. What are Shopkins?
They're like little things. They're like Jen's little playset of the warehouse, but they're hard to find and they're very small. But they have little faces.
Oh, okay.
And there's different kind of ones.
So you've had a lot of fun with those. So what do you want Santa to bring you this year?
Like toy dogs and all that stuff that move and
Oh,
play.
like the heads that bob up and down and stuff like that? Okay.
The ones that move and need batteries and don't need batteries.
Okay, that'll be great. Now you have a brother and a couple of sisters. How old are they?
My sister Ashley is 19. 14, not 19. My brother's 19. And then my sister Aaliyah, she's 11 years old, about to be 12.
Okay, so you're the youngest of the family, and you're doing a great job on television, I have to say. So, Queen Elf, you have known Andrea and her family for a while. Her mom was saying 15 years.
Yes,
that you,
at least 15 years, yeah.
So you've seen them grow, and I know that you say you always get so much from doing this work. What does it mean to you to do this?
I think about 15 years ago, I realized that the families that we're serving, that we're providing these gifts to, it's really important what we're doing, and it's really important to show them the love and care from the community, but I think that the people who are doing the giving are actually benefiting more than those who are receiving. And so the 8,000 volunteers that will come to the warehouse and sort the gifts, and the people who have taken these wish cards and bought the gifts for the children, I truly feel like we're making a bigger difference in their lives and their hearts than even those that we serve.
Yes, and I think more than ever now it's important to be kind.
Yes.
Let's talk about some of you have My Pal Violet here. What is Decipher? You always always bring the most interesting toys and games.
You know, there's a lot of talk about STEM in the Silicon Valley and how we want to promote the learning about science and technology, engineering and math. And then I would add in, like for Arnold, who wants that Crayola art supply, we do STEAM because the A stands for art. Art is very important as well. But these are lots of gifts that we have that are STEM related in one way or another for learning about the medical sciences, learning about counting. Building games are fantastic for kids. It gets parts of their brains working. I mean, really will help them actually do better in math because they're playing with Legos, for example.
That's great. That's great. These are. And so, Andrea, what do you want to be when you're older? Do you know?
I want to help the family giving tree if it's still helping and all that stuff.
Oh, that's wonderful. Oh gosh, I know that really touches your heart too. Yes, that is wonderful that you want to do that. And for other little girls and boys who are watching and they have a wish for the holidays, what would you tell them about Family Giving Tree?
I would tell them that it's really fun and they should go there and maybe you can see how much toys they are and maybe you can earn a gift.
How do you earn a gift?
That's interesting.
From helping and doing hard work and all that stuff and helping them.
You like doing hard work then? Yeah. And so when you're at the warehouse, and this looks like the warehouse, Queen Elf, how do you teach people how to sort from what we have here?
Well, we make miniature little wish cards that are duplicates of the real thing, and then we put them on these little toys, and then we give a volunteer the list, and we talk about Santa's list and checking Santa's list. They're going to check off every gift as they find it, and they're going to put it in a little bag, and they're going to say, yes, we're ready. Or if they didn't find it because the gift wasn't there, they're going to walk over here, and they're going to shop from our little store, and they're going to put our gift there.
And one of the reasons that you do this to train people is because every year you need a warehouse.
Yeah.
And so as we're airing this early in December, hopefully you'll have the warehouse.
I hope so.
By that time.
I hope so.
And it would be great if someone decided to do it not only for this year, but to commit for 2017 as well. That would really save a lot of stress.
Yeah, it's one of our biggest problems every year is that we have to borrow space. It would cost us about $200,000 to rent a building large enough to do our gift sort for 1 month, which is crazy.
Wow.
So we can't spend money to do that. So we want to buy gifts with that money, not rent space. So.
Exactly. Well, maybe one of the benefactors, maybe you'll have a secret Santa
that would be
for
awesome.
that as well. Yes. Well, I am so glad to have you both here, and I'm really impressed with you, Andrea, with what you do and that you give so much of your spirit, your heart, and your hard work to the Family Giving Tree. So we thank you for that because that makes a big difference to other boys and girls everywhere. Yeah, so thank you so much for being here.
You're welcome.
Yes, and thank you for being with us as well. Thank you for what you're doing to make the lives of so many people a lot richer, especially during the holiday season, but also, as you mentioned, for the people who work with you throughout the year. Just knowing that you're making a difference is so important. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
And if you'd like to contact the Family Giving Tree, the details are on our screen. And that's our show. I'm Janice Edwards. Thank you for putting your signature on our Valley in a major way. And during this holiday season, we hope that you will enjoy it and that your new year will be bright and full of promise. Thanks again for joining us. We look forward to seeing you in 2017.
This show is sponsored by Edwards Unlimited, a dynamic media production company. You are here for a purpose, and Edwards Unlimited wants to let the world know. We are dedicated to crafting media that engages and inspires.